Okay. Hello, this is JT. I want to say have a happy new year. It's about 7 in the morning where I am. It's New Year's Day. So I got a quick message. Do you ever wonder why God made humans out of the dirt? There will be people that will say that they're just dirt, they're dust, they're nothing. But see, if that were true, then humans would have been spoken into existence and the dirt would have spit them up. Then they would be just dirt. Then they would be just dust. But that's not what happened. What the Bible said is, he said they got down on their hands and knees. He said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness. So the image of God is spirit, because that's what Jesus, Yeshua, says in John 4:24. God is spirit. God is a spirit. So the image of God is a spirit. And the very first thing that God tells us about him in Genesis is that he's creative. So what he's saying is that he put an aspect of his creativity inside each and every one of us. Now, a rabbi taught this. He said, what's the difference between the dirt? Well, I'm going to use an example. What's the difference between the dirt under the New York Empire State Building and the dirt at the impound? So what's the difference between the dirt here and the dirt there? He said, if you were to do a chemical analysis on that dirt, what difference would you find? He said, none. There is no difference between the dirt. The difference is what you build on it. So God put an aspect of his creativity inside each and every one of us so that we could become something greater, something more like him too, something more like him, but actually, something greater. Because if a person doesn't want to be great, there's something wrong with you. Matter of fact, when in two of the disciples asked Jesus himself, they said, which of us is the greatest? And he didn't discourage greatest. He actually showed them how to become great. He said, if any man wants to be great, he must first be a servant. He must first be a slave and a servant, or he must be a servant of others. So he's showing people how to be great. He didn't discourage greatness. So there's a lot of doctrines that we hear, they just don't match up with the Bible, what the Bible says. So what we're saying is, if we don't use an aspect of the creativity that he put inside of us to become greater, which is about being more constructive, then we're just dirt and we get used by the destroying angel. Now, in Revelation chapter 9, it talks about the angel of the bottomless pit. And it says that his name is, in the Hebrew tongue, Abaddon, and in the Greek tongue, Apollyon. Now, it's telling us his Hebrew name because it's letting us know that we can find him in the Old Testament, which was originally written in Hebrew. So that's the reason why you have to do word study. The Strong's Concordance is available. There's no excuse. So when I did the lookup, I found out that Abaddon means destruction. So that means that Apollyon is the destroying angel. So if we don't use our creativity to become more like God, which is creative and constructive, then the angel will use us for destruction. JT.